could we have truly a better life than you have today? No matter who you are, where you are, what you're facing, your life belongs to you. It is you and you alone that is creating your life, creating your reality. You're listening to The Inevitable Radio Show. I'm your host, William Sumner, and we talk every week about what does that mean to create reality? What does that mean? I create my reality. Most of us believe that there's this reality thing out there happening, that there's a world, there's a planet, the economy is going up or down, the stock market's going up or down, mother-in-laws are going up and down, and that reality is something that we react to, and we do the best that we can. But you're going to discover, if you listen to this show much, that it's not really true. It doesn't really work that way. And so we talk about that. We talk about the belief systems. We talk about primarily how your mind works, how your brain creates that reality for you, how it does great things for you, how it challenges you, how it has problems, what goes wrong when the wheels come off the bus. You create reality at an incredible, powerful level. And there's no one listening to this show right now, none, zero, no one, trust me on this, that is not an incredibly powerful being with powers and capabilities and truths and strength that is, for many of you who struggle with life, many of you who, even on an above average day, when you're working very hard to succeed in life, doing the best you can, parenting, going to work, trying to get the lawn mown, trying to, put up with the latest crisis in your life, there's not one of you listening that isn't an incredible, powerful being with magical capabilities far beyond what you know. This show is about creating greatness. This show, it can also be about getting out of pain. Many of you have been taught that the pain that takes place in your life, the challenges, the difficulties, the things that do go wrong when the wheels come off the bus, most of you believe that has to do something with you, that there's something wrong with you or that you're broken. A lot of you have isms in your life. You have alcoholism, or you have narcotic isms, or you have, shopaholics. There's all these isms in life that you've been told that this is who you are. I mean, how many of you out there are on antidepressants? How many of you out there are telling people, oh, I'm an adult ADD. Yeah, that's who I am. I've got adult ADD. That's why I'm challenged. That's why I have problems. Yeah, you're going to have fun on this show because I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to challenge that. There is no such thing, and I want you to hear this, there is no such thing as alcoholism as taught in the current literature and as taught by the conventional psychology that takes place on this planet. But the bottom line is, what my message is for you today, that you are not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. There's not one thing wrong with you. There is only strategies that you use to create reality. And when you change those strategies, everything changes. We have a caller, line 1. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. I was listening, and you were talking about isms and alcoholism particularly. And the science is saying these days that there are genes that sort of predestines you to be subject to alcoholism. What do you think about that?
Great question. Certainly, it's one of the scientific foundational beliefs that buttress people to the fact that they are predestined to have this challenge. The alcoholic gene is certainly a fact. It's certainly a reality. People do have it. But I have a very interesting question for you. Does every person who have the alcoholic gene become an alcoholic?
No.
No, they don't. And does every alcoholic who becomes an alcoholic, does every one of them have the gene?
I don't know that.
No, they don't.
They don't. Okay.
Yeah. So here's a very interesting possibility. We all are predestined for certain great things and certain challenges. There's no perfect, unflawed human on the planet. There are people that are predisposed to obesity. There's people that are predisposed to alcoholism. There are people that are predisposed to molestation and sexual perversions. There's all kinds of predispositions, just as there's people predisposed to greatness, people predisposed to be musical geniuses, people that are predisposed to have their glass half full. But very interestingly, not every predisposed great person has greatness and great outcomes. Not every person who has an alcoholic gene is an alcoholic. So you have to ask yourself the question, how is one person alcoholic or not based on whether they carry the gene or not? And the answer is alcoholism is nothing more than a neural strategy for medicating pain. That's really what alcoholism is a strategy. It is a psychology that says, I have pain in my life and I don't know how to numb that pain. Some people pick shopping to numb the pain. Some people pick sexual behavior. Some people pick drugs. Some people pick food. Some people go to psychiatrists and get Prozac or Zoloft or an antidepressant to numb their pain. It's a pain strategy. It's not a gene. They're not broken. There's nothing wrong with them. When you are taught to say, and I carry a coin with me that's an AA coin of 19 years, and what that means is this person has been sober for 19 years. It was one of my early clients probably 7-8 years ago. And I told the guy, I said, you're going to be with me a couple of sessions, and you're going to, because his very first sentence to me was, I'm an alcoholic, and I've been sober for 19 years. And my question to him was, what strategy anywhere else in the planet do you realize that something you were doing 19 years ago was stupid and you stopped doing it, that requires you 19 years later to still identify yourself with that broken strategy, 19 years old, and gives you a friggin' coin to celebrate it? You're not an alcoholic. You used alcoholic strategies 19 years ago. If you still want to hold on to that, okay, hold on to that, but don't go around saying I am, because if you've listened to the program, the I am command is the most powerful neural command you can give yourself. If you say, I am a Caucasian, you can't wake up the next day and be Asian or African American. You are what you say you are. And if you say, I am an alcoholic, you will always crave alcohol. You will always tell yourself that you can't be around alcohol. You will always torture yourself.
Thank you for listening to the Inevitable Podcast. Please visit our website for more information on this extraordinary coaching system at www.theinevitableyou.com. Then, sign up for your 2-week free trial of our membership to gain access to hundreds of hours of amazing content and tools just like this. Now, back to Bill.
Now, in this same spirit, let me give you another little data point to ponder. I'm reading the book Outlier right now by Malcolm Gladwell. Great, great book. He's written Blink. He's written Tipping Point. I've heard about this book for several months. I finally picked it up, in part because it's got the first chapter and it's about hockey players. And my son Jack out there, a shout out to Jack, say, hey buddy, hope you're listening to the program, as a hockey player. So I wanted to see what Gladwell, because he's a very unique, innovative guy at looking at things, said about hockey players. The second chapter was about the Irving Berlin Music Academy, and they took the top cellists in this program, and this is one of the most elite musical academies on the planet. They took all the cellists that are in this program, and they're world class to even get into the program to begin with. Divided them into 3 groups. The first group is those cellists that they were destined to be, soloists at, orchestra level. They're just incredible, gifted musicians. They then divided all the ones that they believe were going to be professional musicians. They were going to play second chair, third chair in orchestras. They were going to play in bands. They were going to make their living playing this instrument. And then the third group was the ones that didn't have enough abilities. They were going to be the ones that'll be music teachers. They'll still make their living in the musical industry, but it won't be playing their instrument. It'll be teaching music theory, teaching how to play the cellist, etc. And so then they started looking at these three groups, trying to decide what divided one from the other. Now, most people believe that the ones that were the superstars and destined to be, the soloists on stage would be more gifted musicians, right? And you would think the ones that were destined to be music teachers would be ones that, they didn't have the musical gene. They just didn't have the talent. And what they discovered was that's rubbish. That's crap. Here's what, and it's one thing and one thing only that divided these three groups. It was the amount of time they practiced. No exceptions to this study. So all of them started about the age of 5, give or take. All of them at the age of 5 played about 3 hours a week. When they were 7, they were playing about 4 hours a week. When they were 9, they were playing about 5 hours a week. Around the age of 9 or 10, they wildly began to diverge. The ones that were going to go on to greatness began picking up their hours. So they began practicing 6 hours, 8 hours. By the time they were 15, they were doing, 12 hours a week. By the time they were a senior, they were practicing 20 hours a week. When they were going to this academy, on average, they practiced 30 hours a week with the intention to improve their abilities. The group that was music teachers kind of stayed at the 6 to 8 hours a week. And this is even more trippy, and when I said no exceptions, they did not find one person who was playing 30 hours a week that was in the "you're destined to be a music teacher" category. And they did not find one musician who was playing 8 to 10 hours a week and just had so much raw God-given talent that they were going to be a superstar. The only thing that separated these men and women was how committed they were to the practice. So, what's the relevant to alcoholism? You could believe that you are predestined, or you can be told by conventional science that you are an alcoholic, and that's going to put you into a neural pattern. It's going to put you into a place of the world. What if you practice 30 hours a week at being healthy? What if you practice 30 hours a week? The thing about an alcoholic gene, and it's true about any genetic structure when you talk about predispositions, because it's kind of the core program. You've heard me talk about the core program here before. It's just that you're predisposed to addictions. You have a pain you need to numb. That's real. So whether you pick alcohol, food, sex, shopping, gambling, or let's say you're smart enough to pick an addiction that's half full, you become addicted to God. You go to church every day. You become addicted to marathon running. You must run 8 miles a day, every day. Now, the truth is there are people that go to church every day or run marathons that are not addicts. But many of the people, and you know them, you know the people that are in your life that are addicted to a religion, and it's not a healthy addiction. And you know the people that go to their church or go hold their spiritual beliefs every day, and it's a blessing, and it's a gift to know these people in our lives. But the ones that I'm talking about, the addicts that run or go to church, or the addicts that, work 80 hours a week. Well, you might say they're working 80 hours a week because they want to better themselves, but they might be working 80 hours a week to numb their pain. The genetic structure that you have will influence you, but it is never, ever, never, never the reason why you are or are not something. The reason why you are or are not something is because you were taught that, and you still hold on to that belief to this day that that's who I am. We're wrapping up the show in the last couple of minutes here. It's Mother's Day this weekend. We have all these powerful mothers out there on the planet. All these voices rolling around in our heads. Whether your mother gave you a great program, meaning she not only loved you, but she loved herself, and she took care of herself, and she loved herself, and she believed in herself, and she loved and believed in you, you've got a great head start on the planet. If she loved you and gave you great messages, but wasn't so keen on herself, didn't think highly of herself, struggled. She took care of everybody first. So if her program was that, you are lovable, you are great, but I am not, in this half-empty, half-full world, she would teach you how to be loving. She would teach you how to be a great mom or how to be a great dad when you're a parent, but she wouldn't have taught you how to believe in yourself. And so there are people that take care of others first because it's half full, and they're doing it because it's righteous and because it's coming from a powerful message and a powerful program. And there are people that take care of others first because they're medicating pain. They're numbing how they feel about themselves, and they go, well, this is, as long as I'm a great mom, as long as I take care of my kids, then, I'm doing a great service to the planet. But moms, if you're listening to this, there's a deeper truth running here. You're not teaching them how to be madly in love with themselves, how to take care of themselves first when they're adults. So if you're a mom and you're listening to this, break that code, find the program that's going to allow you to love you first. Because when you figure that program out, then your children, no matter what disaster, trauma, challenge the planet has for your kids, they will know how to love themselves, and they will know how to take care of themselves, and they will pass the program on to your grandchildren. And thus the cycle will continue of greatness, of love. And then for those of you that arrived on the planet with crappy moms who were mean or hateful or a challenge to you and didn't teach you love, well, you can figure it out too. You can always change the program. You can wake up tomorrow morning. You can breathe differently, think differently, focus differently. And when you do that, everything begins to change. The past never, ever has to be your future. It's only your future when you repeat the thought patterns and programs and truths that you ran that whole time as a kid and as an adult. You want a different life, think differently, approach world differently, have an incredible Mother's Day in your family and your life. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Inevitable Podcast. Please visit our website for more information on this extraordinary coaching system at www.theinevitableyou.com. Then, sign up for your 2-week free trial of our membership to gain access to hundreds of hours of amazing content and tools just like this.